BoxingBelles, what an honor it is tonight.
Thank
I'm
you.
so excited to introduce my next guest. I cannot wait to talk to you
Mm,
about all things social media. I love watching you on there.
Thank you.
Everybody, I'd love you to welcome Lisandra, La
Hey,
Nena,
hey, hey, hey,
the
hey, hey,
boxing
hey.
granny,
Yeah.
Velasquez. Let's
How you
go.
guys? Hey, hey, hey. Thank
Oh,
you so much for having me.
oh my
And
gosh, no, thank you. It's such an honor. I was watching a couple of your videos the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, like Madison Square Garden,
yeah.
just unbelievable. So I'm so excited to chat with you about boxing and your career after boxing and everything up until now. Let's definitely start by going back. I know a little bit about your story, but how did you first come about and like really discover boxing?
Well, I discovered boxing. My uncle was fighters. So boxing was around my family.
Oh,
As a little girl, my uncle was a professional fighter. And I used to see him train the boys. I remember when I was young, I wanted to train with him, but my uncle was that macho machismo. He was like, "No, this is for boys," he told me. So I had to go upstairs and, clean the house and do what the girls do, you know, while the boys would, do whatever they did, train and punch and all that good stuff. At the age of 9 or 10, I remember that. And I remember watching them from the step because they were in the basement. They used to live right there in Castle Hill in the Bronx. So my
yeah.
uncle had a whole house, and in the basement, he had a little gym.
Wow.
And I remember just sitting in the steps like this and looking down like, damn, I wish I could play with them. I wish I could be doing what they doing, but they said no.
Oh man,
That's
you
when I
were
first ever
secretly,
saw boxing.
yeah, I was gonna say you were secretly seeing like the ones and twos and combos,
Yeah, I was
right?
just like, I want to play too, I want to get in there, but he told me no, it was for boys.
Very cool.
hmm
And when did you actually start boxing itself and really getting into the gym?
Well, I started boxing when my kid's father used to beat the crap out of me.
Mm,
He used to hit me so hard and beat me, you know what I'm saying? And I had this anger inside me. I wanted to kill him. Yeah, so I had the devil inside of me for a long
yeah.
time, telling me, "Yo, stab that mother." I'm sorry about, say I
Yeah.
curse, stab him, because when you get hit by somebody, anybody hits you, you get this anger, you're like, "Arr." So I had that rage inside of me, and I was depressed. I was so sad. I had a lot of anger, and I wanted to get him back, and I wanted to hurt him the way he hurt me. Is either kill him or punch him in the face. So God
Right.
sometimes has a mysterious way of working on it. Even though I had the devil in my shoulder telling me stab him and kill him and don't let that motherfucker do that to you again, I also had the Lord here telling me, go find a way. And there was a gym right under where I was here, gym was right here. So
Yeah.
I started going to the gym. I also, one of my uncle's friends, his name is Louis Resto, and I'm sure you heard about it. If not, look him up. He's on
Mhm.
YouTube. He's the one that they said that he took the cushion. The coach took the cushion off his gloves. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard that story with
Yeah.
Collins. Yeah, so Louis Resto was also my uncle's friend and my friend.
Wow.
And we used to hang out in the gym. We just, hang out smoking weed. We hanged out, we smoked our joint, and I would go to the bag and just hit the bag while they were in the little office. I was just hitting the bag and hitting the bag, and it became something that I started doing every day for a few months. And
Mm.
then the owner of the gym, see the people that lived in the gym, because the gym is under a building, so there's
Yeah.
apartments upstairs. So the people started complaining, saying that somebody was hitting the bag after 9 o'clock, which was me. He was smoking my joint and beating the bag like it was him. So I
Yeah.
would hit the bag and kind of envision him.
Mm.
And so we did it for a few months, and then Louis Resta told me, Nana, you're gonna have to join the gym because the people in the building are complaining that they're hitting the bag after 9, and after 9 the gym's supposed to be shut down. So
Mm.
I joined, and at first it was kind of embarrassing. At first, I was like, "Oh God, a bunch of men." There was nothing but men, and I was the
Wow.
only girl. But I that those few months that I was there in the bag kind of attracted me to it. I don't know. I just wanted to keep doing it, and I
Yeah.
had to join the gym.
Very cool. That's awesome. Was anybody like training you at all, or was it just like purely like, hey, I'm hitting the bag?
Like, he would just tell me, "Hit me there, hit there, hit there." He wasn't really to me. He was
Yeah.
a good fighter, but he wasn't really a good trainer. So
Yeah.
at first, I just started going to the gym by myself, and I kept to myself in a little corner, a stretch. I touched my toes, and then I would hit the bag for a few weeks. And then the coaches started noticing me that I was coming all the time. I was always there, and how aggressive I was with the bag. I was really, really angry.
Yeah.
And like I said, I used to see my kid's father in the bag. His face was there, his balls were there, everything. Like, I'm gonna hit him here. If he hits me again, I'm gonna hit him here. That's what's going in my mind. And the coaches was just like, yo, this girl's here again and again and again. So I had one of the coaches come up to me and be like, yo, give me a jab. And I gave him a jab and give me a 1-2. And I gave him the 1-2. And he was like, damn, this girl hit better than you guys up in here. And started joking around, making fun. So I started training with him. He was Italian. And he
Mhm.
used to train the Albanians at that time because it was like the Albanians and the black, everybody kind of stood in their own
Yeah.
spot. So he was a good trainer, but when I did good, he smacked me in my behind. And I was like, oh, no, no.
You're
And
like,
did it
"No."
twice. So I
Yeah,
had to be like, nah, don't touch me. Don't
right.
touch me, motherfucker. So I started
Right.
training again by myself. And then Victor Pena, which is one of my old friends to this day, he's also a coach. He said, come here, let me see what you got. So he started doing pad work with me. And then he liked what I had.
Yeah.
And he kept training me. And every time I came, I would train with Victor.
Very cool. That's
So,
awesome. And like
mhm.
how old were you right around that time? Would
I
you
was like 24, 25.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
So like definitely in these days with boxing, I feel like people start when they're like 3 or 4 years old
Yeah,
now. It's
yeah.
like a little bit of a later start in life to
Yes, I
boxing.
started pretty much late. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
And what would you say like the biggest hurdles were when you started? Like I know you had mentioned you were the only female in the beginning in the gym, so you're like, was it like acceptance or resources or what would you say those barriers were?
Well, at that time, I also had two children. When I started training, there was nothing but men in the gym. There was one girl also there that she went pro real fast. Her name was Melissa DeVal. I don't know if you know Louis DeVal. He was also a professional fighter. He had a sister, and his sister, they were like really good. And I was like, sure, I want to be like her. You know,
That's
the only
awesome.
female that I gotta be like her, or I have to be good. I can't be whack.
Yeah.
I had two kids and I didn't have a babysitter, so there was times that I had to bring my kids with me to work out. And my
Wow.
kids were little; they were 3 and 5. They want to run and play, and I wanted to work out. And finding babysitter was a pain in the butt. So I brought them a lot of time. They were with me in the gym, running around, and
Yeah.
people, the guys were really nice. Thank God. They would bring up chips and little juice so they could stay still because they I guess they respected me because I was a mother and I did my thing and I had my kids there.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was the only woman there, and it was pretty hard because I had no other female,
Mhm.
So, and I had my two kids. It was like, but I still
Right.
did it. I still did it. Thank
Yeah.
God for
No.
them.
I love that story. And like you don't hear that a lot, right? Where
Mhm.
you're bringing your kiddos to the gym with you and it really feels
Yeah.
like it was almost like a community.
When I first started, it was just like a workout. But when they was like, "Yo, I think you're good enough to fight, to box," when it really got serious. If I didn't have a babysitter, it would be okay. I'll go tomorrow. It wasn't like I had to be dedicated. But when I decided I was gonna fight, I was like, I gotta go. I'm not gonna get my behind whooped. So it was kind of a worry. Like, come on, we gotta go. I'm not gonna miss today. And I was dedicated to it
Well,
because of that.
definitely. I mean, speak of dedication, like it's clear that you were so dedicated because
To this day.
I'm like, this is like the greatest lead in, but I mean, you've won multiple
Mhm.
golden
Yeah.
gloves. Like, what is there like a fight that stands out in your memory and why?
Well, the last one, I would say the 2004.
Yeah.
And the reason it was because I fought, as I went in, I came out and I did other shows because we used to do underground fighting.
Hmm.
Underground fighting is, that those fights don't go on your book. That's just like, oh, they give you a trophy or whatever. Back
Hmm.
in the days. Now they do it once in a while, but it's very dangerous. But we did it because we wanted the experience. I needed experience. Since there wasn't too many girls fighting, I had to go wherever they had a girl my weight. Fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
But the last one was the one that really kind of I remember because I was the underdog. The girl that I fought she had like 4 golden gloves and she won every fight. That's what they say. And when I went in the corner and they mentioned my name, they booed me. They booed me. They said boo. I was like, oh no, they didn't. No, they didn't even know me like that. So So after I finished that fight and I won, I had the crowd going, "Yay!" Everybody kind of they stand up. They gave me a standing ovation because I'm a girl that was I've been fat and skinny. I'm fat and skinny. So you see these little things right here, these little things they hard for you to get away. You know what I'm saying? So when I went like this, you see my little jiggle and stuff. So I didn't look like the girl that I fought. The girl that I fought, she was brolic and she was
Yeah.
gay too.
Yeah.
So they used to be like, "Oh, she gonna kick your behind." I was like, they used to be like, "She's a man." I was like, "She ain't no man. That girl pee just like I do. Please." They try to punk me, but thank God I've never been a punk. I've never been
Ah,
a punk. The standing, and I've gotten a couple of times standing ovation, and
yeah.
that's a beautiful thing because a lot of people see me, they don't see a fighter. They
Right.
see just a regular girl.
Right.
And then
Right.
when I show them what I got, which I always have to show them what I got, even in the gym as a trainer, even as a gym as a trainer, I got to show the people that I know what I'm doing. And I've been there and I've done that. But they won't see it just by looking at me. They
Right.
will, like one time I had a lady looking for a female trainer. She
Yeah.
came into Morris Park Boxing Gym. And at that time, I was training one of the kids.
Ah,
And one of the guys that worked, they said, Nena, the lady said she wants a female trainer to train her daughter. So while I'm standing right here and I got the kid, he's hitting the speed bag, and I'm like, okay. And the lady, you know how you can see from the side, she looked at me like, what is that? Because she saw me fat. She didn't see me in shape. I didn't look like what a fighter's supposed to look
yeah.
like.
Yeah.
So I saw that. I got so offended. I was like, oh, no, she didn't. I said, let me tell you something, lady. You want a female trainer? I'm the only one in here. And the kid told the guy that worked, he said, let me tell you something. She's one of the best. And they
Right.
showed her my pictures and all that stuff because she just thought I was just somebody,
Right.
a fat
Right.
old lady. They didn't
Sure.
know that I walk the walks, I could talk the talk. Just
Woo!
sometimes we get older, we have health issues. I have a lot of health issues
Yeah.
that kind of blew me up.
Yeah.
But I still did my thing. I did power works. I moved. People be like, I leave people with their mouth open.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, just hearing that about your fights and
Mhm.
the fact that you fought at Madison Square Garden multiple
Well, let me
times,
tell you something. I didn't know how important that was or how big of a deal
yeah.
that was.
Yeah.
I just did it, and I was like, "We're going to Madison Square Garden." And and they, everybody, the coaches were more excited than I was. I was just like, "I'm gonna go fight again,"
Oh,
because the coaches always wanted to go there to Madison. It's a big deal for them. It's
oh
a big
yeah.
deal to go to Madison Square Garden. And I went to the big Madison Square Garden the first fight. And then I
Yeah.
went to the little one. So, and I took one of my kids that fought one of my girls to Madison Square Garden.
Oh,
I
I
went there, I was
love
like, I've
that.
been here before. I
Oh,
went there as a fighter and I went there as a trainer.
I
We
love that.
went, and it was amazing. I was like, oh my God, I remember walking through here.
Oh my
It
gosh,
was
that
cool.
must have felt like full circle for you,
It
right? Like
did.
in the ring and now I'm on the side of the ring, right?
Yeah, I'm in and out, so I know the
Yeah.
game in and out, and it's a blessing to me. And I didn't know how important it was and how much I learned
Yeah,
because, and you
right.
start learning, seeing things like I didn't know why my coach told me do this and do that, and now I'm telling them do this and do that, and I'm like, that's why, because we don't know. In the beginning, you're just trying to survive in there, and then when you're on the outside, you start, oh, that you in the way, get your head, move your head, get out, go to this, you know.
You're like, let me show you this video.
Yeah.
You're
Now,
like, let me.
I know it also. I learned how to see things, that I didn't see, that I couldn't see when I was
Right.
inside a ring.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mhm,
And it
mhm,
kind of sounds the same about, Madison Square Garden for
mhm.
you,
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
time versus now, right?
yeah, yeah. It's
That's
cool. It's
Yeah, that's
cool.
awesome. And then, like, tell me about you. I know you had just mentioned training, right? Tell me a little bit about how you kind of, I don't even want to say like redefined your identity, but like how it changed, right? When you weren't primarily a competitor anymore.
Mhm. Well, I started going back to the gym. I left the gym. I should have stood there, honestly. But my coach kind of drew me out of it. He made me not. I was in love with it, but things happen. I made a mistake, and that kind of drew me out. He was my coach. I made a big mistake that a lot of women, since you're close with this man all the time, and then boom, there it is, and then
Yeah.
he don't know how to just,
Mm.
being obsessed, and trying to own me. And that's actually how I got out, and I kind of didn't look back again because I wanted to get away from him. I was like, I'm not gonna deal with this man. You know what? Let me just keep it moving. But I had a girl that wanted to do like a thing. So it was like, she was like, listen, I want to go to the domestic violence shelter, and I want since you know boxing, maybe you can teach them some self-defense. That's how I kind of came back. I was going to the shelters, teaching them how to, how to do some boxing and some pad work and all that, and the kids too. And then my boy, he owned the gym where we used to fight at. His name is Aaron. So what I started doing is I started bringing the girls to the gym because the shelter was too small.
Mm,
So then I was like, "Do you mind if I bring some girls here?" He didn't charge me or nothing, for free, and train, some girls. And he, of course, he's gonna promote his gym. He was like, "Hey, do whatever you want, as long as you do it after 6." And I did almost like 3 years training for free the girls from the shelter. And when I started it, as soon as I hit the pads and all that stuff, I fell in love with it again. Started telling them, I told my homeboy, I said, "Yo, can I go back and work with the kids and stuff?" He said, "Yeah, why not?" And then it was 9 years after.
I love that. I feel like you're helping give other people the power that you found too.
Yes, yes. I definitely found it gave me what I needed because it gave me confidence. It made me strong when I was weak. And
Yeah,
when I was scared, it didn't, I wasn't scared no more. So it took
yeah.
that fear away from me that I had. And when I used to get my behind, let me tell you something. I have brothers, I have uncles. My uncles were fighters, but I never wanted to get them involved because I know that we will make up. And I forgave him. So I didn't want to put my family in like that. You back with this guy and you just made me punch him in the face. I never wanted to involve my family, and
Yes.
because I know that I still love them and I didn't want him to get hurt. But
Yeah.
I wanted to hurt him myself. Like I want to
Yeah.
do it. I want to,
Absolutely. No, I
Mhm.
was gonna say, like, you've really used boxing. It's like kind of like you went in because you had like that rage,
I
right?
had a lot. I had the devil on
Yeah.
my shoulder, girl. Let me tell you something. I had a
Yeah.
knife. I had a knife under my mattress that
Yeah.
I was like, if he touched me one more time, I already had plans. I'm gonna stab him right in the chest. It was horrible. I was
Yeah.
fighting myself because I know if I did that, I'm going to jail. If I did that, I'll lose my kid's father. It's like I knew the things, that I know if I, even though I was so mad, because anger sometimes speaks for you.
Yes.
And I was kind of scared of myself at that time because I felt that I wanted to do that because I wanted to show him that I ain't no punk, even
Right.
though, I didn't know how to fight, but I was
Yeah.
going to show him I was going to defend myself, and I'm not going to let him do that again and again and again.
Yeah.
And boxing made me strong. And I remember the last time he tried to hit me, I went like this. I put my hand right here. And you know what he told me? He said, "You see, bitch, you still scared." And I'm like, "Nah, nigga, I'm blocking. What
Yeah.
the hell you talking
Yeah.
about?"
These are
You
called
know?
reflexes from
Yeah. Nah, wait a minute. I see it coming, I blocked. But he didn't know that. But I was like, "Nah, you don't know what the hell I'm doing. That's all right." And then I beat the crap out of him.
Good.
And
Good.
after that, he was like, "Why we always gotta be fighting? Why we can't just talk?" I'm like, "Cause this how we talk. When you got mad, you hit me. So now I'm doing the same thing like you, and you don't like it because now I'm hitting hard, I'm hitting back, I'm defending
Right.
myself." But he had to
Right.
have to tell me why we always gotta be fighting. Why can't we talk? Because this how we talk. I
Right.
learned
Right.
this from you.
Yeah. You're like, where was that before though?
Yeah, exactly. We should have done that before. But now it's like, okay, this girl's learning too damn much. She know too
Oh,
much.
oh my gosh. But no, I love that you learned such an interesting skill, right? Especially
Mhm.
at the time that not a lot of females were doing, and literally using it as a tool for healing and going into women's shelters and
Yeah.
things like that. Is there
When
anybody that you've met in those shelters that really stands
I
out?
met a lot of people in my
Yeah.
family. I have one of the family that still, and to this day, they show me love. The kids were little and now they grown and they always remember me. And it's amazing to just have those people still in your life and they still remember what you did. A lot of the women that were there, they got their behind whooped by their men. Like I used to have the lady from the shelter who was in domestic violence. There was a lady that told me that this man hanged her. He hanged her with a belt, and I was just like, "Oh my God!" We all gave her a hug. It was very
Gosh.
sad. People were sharing their stories, and this one really, the man hanging. I'm like, "Oh my God!" Like, yeah, a crazy, crazy situation, and just a man hitting you. You know what I'm saying? And you being helpless and scared, and don't tell nobody because that's what I did. I didn't tell nobody. I kept it to myself. I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed, and I didn't want nobody to hurt him even though he hurt me because like I said, I had family that would have got involved. They would have saw me. I
Mm,
had to hide my pain. I stood in my house. I didn't want to come out. It was depressing. And
yeah.
I thank God that he found another way for me. He found boxing right next door to me.
Yeah.
And
No,
all I had to do was go and I did that.
I mean, you're so motivating. Your Instagram is
Mhm.
so motivating.
Every day, baby. Every day is
I
something new. Every day I'm working. Every
I
day, yeah.
love it. I love it. And I know I hear you talk a lot about boxing as medicine.
Yes.
Tell us more about that and really what that
Okay.
means for you.
To me, as a kid, I always had a learning disability. I
Mhm.
didn't learn as fast as everybody else. I didn't focus. I wasn't good at paying attention. I had all these problems, what a lot of people have, and then later on they kind of grow out of it. So focusing was one of my main things. But let me tell you something, in that ring, in that gym, when we sparring, I gotta look at who's looking at me. And hitting the double in, I have to pay attention. I have to focus. The speed back, I have to focus. I have to learn how to go like this and not look in the sides. So that kind of made me, boxing helped me focus. Boxing helped me react. Boxing helped me, you know, boxing gave me all these things that I needed. And focusing was one of the main things I had a problem with. And I had to focus because if not, I was getting punched in the face. And practicing, learning, I had to learn. I had to be on repeat. So we in boxing, we repeat the combos over and over again. Whatever whatever we do, we repeat, and I needed that. And also in school, I didn't grab because it didn't interest me.
Mm,
Boxing interests me.
mm.
So I learned a lot and it helped me a lot. Mhm.
I feel like boxing is, I don't know, especially women, right? My podcast is like for women to
Mhm.
hear, different empowering stories, but sometimes it really takes guts to go into that boxing gym because
No, it did.
right? No, it with all men, right? And then after you get in there, you're like, okay, nobody's looking at you, right? Because like
Mhm.
they're really like you talked about focus, they're really focused on their
Everybody's doing
craft.
their own thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody ends up being so nice and
Mhm.
things like that. What do you think? I feel like there has been, a shift for women, especially with boxing, which is great. But what would you say to someone or a woman who's maybe like, I'm curious about boxing, but I'm like scared to walk through
Mhm.
those doors?
I said do it. Go in there. Don't let fear stop you from achieving, or trying something. Try it out. How you know it's gonna be if you don't try it? If you're telling yourself no. And that's a lot of times I did that to myself. I said, oh, I'm not good enough. No, I'm not. Don't say no. Try it. You never know. You might like it. You might find something you're gonna fall in love with. Because boxing is different. It's not a regular workout. It's not lifting up weight. I mean, even though you can if you want lightweight, but it's a different workout, and it's cool jumping rope, just the combos and hitting the bag and sparring, all those things. It's a different world, and it makes you feel so strong. And let me tell you something: the best feeling in the world is feeling strong.
It's clear you're so passionate about boxing.
Medicine, girl. I
I
I
love
dream about stepping away. I be in my bed like, oh God, tomorrow's another day.
it.
Tomorrow's another day.
Oh,
Yeah.
you sound like me after I train. I'm like, man, that combo. And I'm like, I'm
Uh-huh.
just like
It stays.
in my
I
brain.
jab in my sleep. I just be like, it's fun.
I'm
It's
like
fun.
in my brain for sure. Well, we're heading towards like the last part of the podcast here. So we're going
Oh, that it went
to,
so fast.
I
How
know.
many minutes it's
I'm
been?
like, oh, only 28 minutes. I know.
Damn,
It's so
girl.
fast.
Because when you're having fun and you enjoy, time goes like this fast.
I'm
Same
fine.
thing in what I do. Time flies. When I train people and I be extra, what, that's it? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna kill this person. Yeah. Yeah. When I enjoy it, it's like it's like it's too fast. You want
Exactly.
more.
Right,
Mhm.
exactly. Well, we're gonna move into championship rounds where
Mhm.
you're gonna want to answer just as fast as you possibly can, okay? All
Okay.
right. Describe yourself in 3 words.
I'm blessed. I don't know, is that 2 words? I am blessed. Oh yes.
I
Ah,
love it.
yes, I am blessed.
I love it.
Mhm.
This one might be controversial. 2 or 3 minute rounds.
3.
Hmm. Who is your favorite female boxer right now?
I like Amanda Serrano.
Woo! Wait, I'm wearing her.
Wepa, that's my hello, that's my girl right there. It's crazy when she was young. I met her sister. I seen her
Cool.
sister. I thought it was Amanda, but it was her sister because her sister was out
They
before
look
Amanda.
alike.
And her sister's husband, Big John, I knew him too. It was
Oh
crazy. I
my
was like, oh, wait a minute, Big John.
God.
And I
Oh
told
my
Big John one
gosh.
time I hit him up. I said, what's up, Big John? Remember me? And he said he remembered me. He said the punching machine. He knew I was a punching machine. I was like, that's what's up. Yeah,
I
Big
love it.
John.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. I was lucky enough to go to Taylor Serrano too in
Mhm.
Texas. That fight was unbelievable. I was
Yes.
in my mind. I'm
The
like, oh,
second one, right? The second one with
the second one
I
with that
loved
big
it.
old
Yes.
cornrow cut. Ooh,
That's what where everybody really, really fell in love with Serrano. I said,
yeah,
like, that girl kept, I would have been like, yo, but
yeah,
I can't see. Wait a
yeah.
minute.
Yeah,
Throw the
I was
towel down.
like,
I
hands
just kidding.
down,
Nah,
men or
that shows the
women.
warrior she was. That shows
Oh,
what a warrior you're
yeah.
supposed to
That was
be.
like best fight of the year for
Yeah, it
me.
sure
I was
was.
like,
That's what's up. That's what's
so,
up.
well, Lysandra, how can people follow you if they want to connect with your
Mhm.
work, anything you're doing right now for our listeners? What's the best way?
Well, I have two pages. I have La Nena's Boxing Therapy, and I also have La Nena 7777, 4 sevens. Right now, I'm a little restricted on La Nena's Boxing Therapy. So I don't even want to talk about it, but things happen.
You'll be
And
back.
yeah, I'd definitely be back. Right now, my other page is actually popping, which was my friends and family page, and it's going up. I got like almost 37K followers on that page. And
Wow.
then the other one has 62,000
Let's
followers.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so little by little it's going up here and there. People are following me, they like what I do. And I'm blessed. And you know what's crazy? When my video first went out, I have a couple of videos that went viral. When my first video went viral, people laughed at me. They laughed because they didn't know what they were seeing. And it was people that didn't know nothing about boxing. You see,
Mm,
fools laugh at the unknown. And I had a lot of fools laughing. But then the people that knew what I was doing was like, wait a minute, that lady know what she's doing. So
right.
from this, it went like this. And guess who's laughing now?
Oh, there she is.
Grandma in the house. Yeah.
Lana, everybody,
Mhm.
thank you so much for your time
Thank you,
today. I
darling. God
really
bless you. You
appreciate
have a good one.